you know, 1990. Think about when you were a kid and some adult was talking about 35 years ago, like it's 1985 and you're a kid, and that adult's talking about like, well, post World War II, during the Korean conflict, talking about the 50s. My point, like the kids today, when me or you or anybody's talking about like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, like, here you go, old timer, it's called a hurricane. It's a 4-pronged cane. You can more stable walking. Here's a portable oxygen tank. Jeesh. Well, you got to put things in perspective every now and then. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Yeah, you're right. A cloudy, rainy Monday, but we'll take it. Better than the weekend, right? We got enough of that yesterday afternoon. But boy, today, some heavy rain at times, steady rain. You know, the Sewage and Water Board on a day like this, they should have trucks, just every employee, every vehicle tooling around the city and snapping photos of spots, putting addresses down of culverts that aren't working. I mean, you could drive down a street, it's high and dry. Then all of a sudden, you're driving down a street and 20 yards of it are flooded. And I say flooded, 6 inches of water, you can drive through it. And you see the culverts with the water like up to the top of them or over them. They're not working. They're full of leaves or debris or trash. There's just no way for water to get through. But the other parts of the street are high and dry because the culverts are working like a champ. No, the Sewage and Water Board on this is a perfect day for it, because there's not like massive flooding going on, but there's enough water being dropped where you could see what would lead to flooding in certain areas. And a lot of it is just clearing out culverts and things running more properly, more smoothly. Hey, the corporals at the controls fielding your phone calls, 766-9480. 766-9480. Love to hear from you. 766-9480. The number to get in touch. Hey, speaking of 30 years ago today, the O.J. Simpson chase. I remember the NBA Finals getting interrupted. And the news going to the white Bronco going down the whatever, I don't know, 405 interstate somewhere in Los Angeles. Al Cowlings at the controls. I remember the prank caller, I believe, on ABC calling up. I can see OJ. They put him on the air live, and then he's like Baba Booey doing like a Howard Stern shout out at the end. And ABC just having, oh, we're moving on. That was obviously a prank caller. Just keep moving. Don't point it out. 30 years ago today, the O.J. Simpson chase. The O.J. Simpson trial, the whole thing, really interesting. There are college courses on it, like taking a semester, breaking it down, and not so much like OJ, innocent, guilty, the specifics of the trial, although definitely part of it, but more just the overall race relations in the United States of America. When OJ Simpson was found innocent, you shoot a room full of white folks of almost any socioeconomic level. And there's just like, what? Can't believe it. That criminal, that murderer got off. And then I'm sure a lot of those white folks were just like, the black guy got off, bummed out some black guy got off. Racist type crap. But I think for most white folks, it wasn't about race. It's about murder. And then for most black folks, it definitely was about race and not murder. And I think on the surface, you might interview a lot of black folks, especially back then, heat of the moment, the passion of it all. that would proclaim OJ's innocence. And even to this day, there are some, although a much smaller percentage, that claim OJ's innocence. But I think a lot of black folks that claim that back then, that no longer claim that claim that back then, that simply were happy that he was found not guilty. It was a conscious or subconscious form of justice for the black community. Wow. We're reaching a weird equality, a black person would be thinking. Finally, a black person who is famous, who is rich, wealthy, can hire the best attorneys, can get away with murder too, like some white people that are rich or wealthy that have hired the best attorneys and have beat the system. It wasn't so much a great O.J. Simpson got away with murder, screw Ronald Goldman, or O.J. didn't do it, he's innocent. It's more, wow, this is justice in a weird kind of way. A black person with money and notoriety and fame and fortune and good attorneys can get away with murder too. But yeah, there are still a wacky group that maybe just not thinking clearly, don't really want to understand it, are so hell-bent on, anything black that they're pro-black, bad black over good white, anything. No, they're going to, I guess, say OJ's innocent. I mean, that's just sort of silly. That's like a non-starter in any rational conversation I would have with any human being on the planet. Black, white, any color. Come on. Just silly. Anyway, 30 years ago today, O.J. Simpson, the chase on the interstate. Lincoln Beach public meeting, not so public. The news media disinvited some, I guess, citizens from the neighborhood that would be called, quote, activist types. They were disinvited to this public meeting to discuss the future of Lincoln Beach. City Hall, the city of New Orleans' excuses is hysterical. It's funny. It's like the dopiest of catch-22s. It's like, okay, we don't have it developed yet, so we don't want people knowing about it because people come out here illegally and swim, and we don't want that, and it can be dangerous and blah, blah, blah. So even though we're announcing and having a public meeting about the Lincoln Beach redevelopment and we want your input, can you kind of keep it secret? Because we don't want people that really are here just to give input that live in the neighborhood knowing about it because they might come to the beach. Wow. Really? That's the excuse to disinvite the media because they might write a story about a public meeting, public meeting, media, the public, activists, anybody can go. Oh, wow. Now you're going to have to just have a public meeting again that the media and the public will be involved, Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, you right. Former LSU coach Les Miles suing LSU, suing the NCAA for vacating wins, hurting his chances of making college football's Hall of Fame. I'll tell you about that when we return. Got a good one lined up for you on this Monday afternoon. Lebanon's Cafe picked up a to-go order for lunch today. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette in Uptown. So good. 862-6200. Easy number to remember. 862-6200. Fire in a big to-go order. They're open right now, 11 a.m. till 9:30, 7 days a week, straight through. Yeah, I said till 9:30, dinner tonight. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Boy, the last thing we need, huh? A Gulf disturbance in the tropical storm range, maybe within the next few days. No clue where it's going. We'll let you know. Hopefully no threat at all to us. I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, nice. Steve with the Sewerage and Water Board is with us. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. I didn't get verification, or maybe I did and I missed it. I apologize. Fantastic. How are you? Steve, you there? Uh-oh. Let's see if we can get Steve up. Steve, we got you now, I think.
Hey, how are you, Corey?
Doing well, man. Thank you very much. I guess I forgot to check emails or something. I thought I did before we came in, but I didn't know we were verified. I'm glad. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, my pleasure. Our comms director got in touch with me and had me give you a call.
Yep. Steve Nelson is with us, the general superintendent, Sewerage and Water Board. A lot of rain coming down today. It seemed me, from my perspective, driving around the city, pumps seem to be working fine. It seemed that some culverts, some drains may have been not operating at best capacity in some spots. I'd drive down an uptown street that would be high and dry, and then one area was flooded, and I could see the culverts up, covered to the top. Is that pretty accurate, Steve, that most pumps were operating and it's culverts that are a problem on a day like today?
Yeah, from a pump and power perspective, today's been a good case study for us in how the system is kind of laid out to operate for an inch in that first hour and a half inch every hour thereafter. Been watching canal levels all day. They haven't approached street level that I have seen. So if you see those situations where you've got one block dry, the next block's got some water, the next block's dry, that you're absolutely correct. That's probably a small diameter drainage issue.
Yep. Would this be a day where you send out a fleet of vehicles? You just said it's a good day to test the system because it was a moderate rain. It was steady. It was good. It was solid. It wasn't just a drizzle, but it wasn't some sicko continuous downpour where you're getting 6 inches in 3 hours. But it was enough to test the full system. On a day like this, would it be wise to get out a bunch of vehicles, guys in trucks, and snapping photos, writing down addresses where culverts are not draining, especially when there are every other one on the streets draining great?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny you mentioned that. I am literally sitting in a vehicle having finished a ride around with some representatives from Xavier University as well as the Department of Public Works. And that was exactly one of the things we just got done making note of, or some blocks over here in the Gerttown neighborhood that look like they've got some surface drainage issues. I know folks can also call 311 and report water stacked up on their street. And that's a really powerful tool for us. For the Sewerage and Water Board, we utilize 5.2 water, 504 5.2 water for things like water leaks, a sewer backup, a pavement cut, etc. The city's got the 311 system that can track some of those things. So yes, certainly having our crews in the field and taking stock of which blocks are holding water and which aren't is definitely helpful. Also helpful to have folks call it in too.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in 311. What's the Sewage and Water Board number, Steve?
504 5.2 water.
5.2 water.
5.2 water, yes.
5.2 water. And someone can go, hey, I want to report that in front of my house, the culvert is not draining water at all.
Well, Senate Bill 305 will consolidate, and you're probably aware, some of your listeners may or may not be, the storm drain system is split in New Orleans. And so the Department of Public Works is responsible for catch basins and everything under 36 inches in diameter, which is most of those small diameter laterals.
Yep.
And then the Sewerage and Water Board is responsible for everything 3 feet in diameter and up.
Insane.
So currently the call would best be directed to 311, and they are collecting that data. But you kind of lead into a point there that Senate Bill 305 is going to consolidate that. That's been split since 1991. And
I'm the coach of the team, Steve, and in a few months I'm not going to be. How much am I going to really coach your kid? You know what I'm saying? It's like the city, oh, wow, we're not going to be even dealing with these catch basins in a few months. I have really no sense of urgency to clean them. No way to get the Sewage and Water Board jump-started on this before you officially take it over?
We have started with planning, setting up our leadership group and an org chart, because it's going to require a new division. So
Yep.
it's basically analogous to taking on the gravity sewer system within the city. It's 1,600 miles of line, 72,000 catch basins. And so it's something that we're starting to put the pieces in place to be able to have that roadmap. And we talked about it at the city's Public Works Committee meeting. The handover is going to take a little bit of time. It's not something we're going to be able to just immediately hand over. There is going to have to be a transition there. It won't happen in a day.
No. I get it. And I think everything you've said is totally legitimate. I think the Sewage and Water Board still hasn't found a funding source for the power plant to fully complete it, much less funding to take over this, correct?
Nothing finalized, but we have been having some really productive discussions. And I do want to make sure that I give credit to the mayor's administration, city council, and our state delegation. All of those groups have been working really proactively and productively. I think having really productive discussions for both the power complex and the surface drainage funding, because you're absolutely right. Without the funding resources, there's not much that we could do differently than anybody else.
The fact that the power complex isn't fully funded at this point is mind-blowing to me, especially how far along you guys are.
Yeah, so the fortunate news is with the funding that is in place, we will be able to use those frequency changers, but without that $29 million that we've been talking about for a while, there's going to be a piece there with the operations center and updated switchgear that we're really, really going to need to make that happen. And like I said, it's not finalized, but there are some really productive conversations going on, and we're looking forward to seeing that happen.
So the money you have and the job that you can complete with the money you have, let me guess, that's as far along as you would get as far as function of the facility for the Super Bowl coming up in February, if even at all?
We won't be able to have the frequency changers in place for the Super Bowl. So we'll be utilizing 25 hertz power from our turbines and our electromotive diesels and our frequency changers through the Super Bowl. But we will have key components of that power complex project up and running by June or in June of 2025.
But now, would it have been June of 2025 with the additional 25 million finishing all of it completely?
Yes, that timeline would have stayed the same. That wouldn't have changed.
Are there things not being done right now because of the 29 million not in place?
Not at this point. Now, it will help to have the funding because, as everybody knows, things take longer to build. There are longer lead items.
We're kind of losing you there, Steve. We kind of lost you for a second. You still there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, got you now. Got you now. No,
Yeah.
So has anything stopped because of the 29 mil?
No, nothing has stopped at this point, but the sooner the funding is in place, the sooner we will be able to go to bid, order long lead electrical items. There are things that take a significant amount of time to order, and the sooner that funding is in place, the sooner we're able to place those orders.
I apologize for fading over to the power plant discussion, but going back to where we were, the citizens are kind of in limbo right now. Sewage and Water Board doesn't have control of the catch basins or those smaller pipes yet. You don't have funding in place yet to do it when you do take over. In my opinion, the city of New Orleans, we know the 311 system's bad, but the city of New Orleans has no incentive to do a better job of cleaning them than before because they're not going to be in charge of them anymore. They probably like to save that money and spend it somewhere else. It's safe to say we're in a limbo period right now. Isn't that accurate, Steve?
Well, I do think DPW does have $10 million committed to catch basin cleaning right now. They're about halfway through. And I mean, to their credit, they've taken 2 million pounds of debris out of the storm drain lines. I was, like I said, just riding around with the Deputy Director of Public Works, and I've been in regular conversation with the Director of Public Works. I do believe that they're committed to seeing that to completion. And I think we are seeing some positive benefits. I know they've really been focusing on areas where they've gotten repeated complaints, and I do think that's helping for folks. So I know they're doing the best that they can with the funding that's currently available, and we are in conversations for how to transition that productively.
Hey, Steve, can you hang on 1 second through a break, or do you have to run?
Sure, no, that's fine.
I just like to know, and I'm sure everybody else out there, on a rain day like today where you got to test the system, how many pumps are operating, how much power you got going with 25 hertz, that type of stuff. Are those diesel locomotives? One of them I know was down with some kind of a radiator problem. Are those things operational? That kind of stuff. We're visiting with Steve Nelson with the Sewage and Water Board. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Young's Dry Cleaning's been with you since 1940. 84 years of excellence. Tired of your dry cleaner? Want to experience the best? YoungsDryCleaning.com, a New Orleans institution. YoungsDryCleaning.com.
Under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe. Some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at Rouse's.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Steve Nelson is with us, the general superintendent with the Sewage and Water Board. Hey, Steve, today's rain event, the canals getting, a little higher as far as water capacity, but not near the top, and y'all are monitoring them. Are you constantly pumping them down at that point?
Yeah, so that's one of our operational parameters is to pull the canals down in advance of any rain, get them pulled down as low as possible, and then, of course, get the water moved off the street, down the canals, and out into the lake and river, if you're on the West Bank, as quickly as we can. And
the pumps in operation, they are strictly pumping out canals, or any pumps in operation that pump out low-lying neighborhood areas?
Yeah, so we've got 24 pump stations and 99 major pumps at those stations. And for a better look at which station pumps from which neighborhood, folks can go to swbno.org, and we have a pump and power dashboard that will break down all of that. There's a map that shows which pump serves your neighborhood, and it will also tell you in real time if your pump station is running and or on or off.
It's strictly pumping out of canals, or do any pumps pump out of low-lying areas of a neighborhood?
Well, they do pump from canals, so there are so everything starts with catch basins and the small diameter lines at the street level. It then typically will run to larger collectors. Some of those small diameter lines do run directly into canals, but most of those surface drains run into larger catch basins, larger canals, which then run into our main canals, and then the pump stations pump from those large canals into, two of them pump into interior canals, and then others are into the outfalls.
Of the 99 pumps, how many were in operation today, or how many are in operation today?
Well, we've got 90 that are operational. I don't know exactly how many of those 90 ran. I do know that we had between 1 and 2 3/4 inches of rain so far today, but it falls at different periods of time at different places across the city. So we haven't had to run much more than maybe 12, 13 megawatts of power at any given time. Our system requires 44 megawatts of 25 hertz power. That's kind of the number that I think folks are most familiar with. And so we didn't even need to get to half of that today. So probably figure we ran about half of our capacity overall, but I don't know exactly which pumps.
So that would mean of the 25 hertz pumps, you were only running that percentage of the pumps available, roughly?
Roughly, give or take.
Hey, Steve, what about power? You mentioned 44 hertz is ideal. Could you have hit 44 hertz today if you needed it, or no?
44 megawatts.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me start over. Let's start over again, because this gets so. I don't want to get into me saying something like the turbine's not pumping water. The 25 hertz. Everything runs on 60 hertz in America. We still run some of these pumps on 25 hertz, old yesteryear power. We for an ideal situation, we need 44 megawatts of power produced at 25 hertz, correct?
That's right. You got it.
All right. Today, if you needed that ideal amount to run all your pumps, 44 megawatts of 25 hertz power, did you have it today? Or are we still stuck at like 38, 39, 40, whatever it was?
Yeah, so the good news is we've got 49 megawatts of available power.
Wow.
Turbine 5, which was built in 1952, through 4 of our 5 electromotive diesels. Those produce 2.5 megawatts each. We got 4 of those available. And then we have a number of frequency changers, which can take that 60 hertz power from Entergy and convert it to the 25 hertz. So all of those assets together would give us 49 megawatts. Now, that's good, but with Turbine 5 being a little older, some of these frequency changers and the EMDs, you've got a lot of different sources. So the position that makes us more comfortable is to have Turbine 4 available, Turbine 5 available, and then those other resources. And the good news is we took shipment on the last of the parts for Turbine 4 over the weekend, and there are crews currently installing the last of those parts into Turbine 4 today, this week, and they'll be buttoning all of that up next week, and we should be testing Turbine 4 next week. And that will bring us, along with that fifth EMD, which should also be available end of this month, right around 70 megawatts, which is a good place to be in terms of redundancy. I'd rather have more available than right at the line.
I don't mean to laugh about Turbine 4 parts. What some dude in Ohio was banging on a piece of orange steel on an anvil over the last few months to make your part?
No, the bearings the bearings were shipped to the Carolinas, and they had to re-pour some bearings in the Carolinas. Those again took shipment over this weekend and are being installed now.
It's not standard stuff, though. You're not just ordering a Nelson 411, huh, Steve? You're I guess sending them your old part or at least details of it, and they are creating this part for you. I mean, this Turbine 4 is from 1915, I think.
That you are correct, and in many cases, we've had some issues with valves in the past and steam control equipment, and those are all pieces and parts that yes, we have to have custom fabricated, or we fabricate those pieces in house. So yeah, that power complex project we were talking about before, really, really excited to have that online and be able to move away from utilizing Turbine 4 as a day-to-day tool.
Turbine 4 would just go away totally, right? You wouldn't keep trying to keep it running.
Yeah, it'll be retired.
Yep, totally. And then Turbine 5 from 1958, you would keep that one as a reserve?
That would be a backup to a backup. So when the power complex, as it is currently funded, comes online, we'll have two jet engine turbines, because we currently have Turbine 6, which was built in 2014. It's what they call an aeroderivative. It's basically a jet engine with a generator tied onto it. And what the Power Complex project is going to do is really fully harness the wiring, switchgear, electrical components of Turbine 6, and then they will add a Turbine 7. That'll be a brand new turbine that's also an aeroderivative jet engine. So then we can have those two together will produce 44 megawatts of power. So the intent will be to run off of a dedicated feed from Entergy at all times. But if something truly bizarre were to happen, we're going to retain that capacity to generate power in-house, and we want to do that with new equipment, and we'll be able to do so. But even so, we're going to keep Turbine 5 available so we can have 60 megawatts of power available if we need it.
I've been in the building where Turbine 6 is, the jet engine you mentioned. Turbine 7, another jet engine, you guys own it. It's in storage. You haven't built it out yet. Those can produce 25 or 60 hertz with the converters?
That's correct. With the proper wiring and switchgear, yes, they can.
Wow.
They can provide backup for our potable at 60 or our 25 hertz asset.
Will 99 pumps ever be working?
I believe that will happen, yes. I don't know exactly when at this point, but that is the goal, to have them all up and running.
All right, cool. And right now the EMDs, that's the diesel locomotive things that do 2.5 megawatts each?
Yes, that's correct. We've got 4 online now.
But you have 5 total, right?
Yes, there are 5 total. We're waiting on 1 voltage regulator, which we should take delivery here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then EMD 5, or it's EMD 1, which will bring us to a total of 5 will be online.
So you get 12.5 megawatts from those 5?
Correct.
And then you get 22 from Turbine 4 and 5?
Yeah, they're about 18 a piece, and then we have frequency changers that can make up the rest and put us right at 70 megawatts.
And today of 25 hertz power, optimum is 44 megawatts, and you guys had 49. You have 49 today, 5 more than what's necessary.
That is correct. Because
turbine 5 is operational, the one from the 50s.
That's it. Yep.
Can I come up for breath now?
Absolutely. You got it covered.
Steve, I'm telling you, you guys need, I told Gus on this, you need to create like a little 3-minute cartoon that explains all this stuff so folks don't confuse hertz and megawatts and turbines pumping water.
Absolutely. And that's, you get, that kind of gets to the crux of the importance of that power complex project is it's not just replacing old equipment, which has served us well in the past, but is well past its intended life.
Yep.
It's going to drastically simplify things.
Yep. You remember Schoolhouse Rock?
I do.
Yeah, that's what you guys need to produce, something like that. You could have the steam engine and show steam engines being used in the Industrial Revolution and the fact we're still using it, all the Korean War and the Turbine 5, all that stuff. All right. Steve, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you for all that information.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Corey.
That's Steve Nelson over at the Sewerage and Water Board. Yeah, that's good to know. More 25 hertz power than needed today. Smooth sailing. Just got to clean out those catch basins. Coming right
Dave
back.
Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Yeah, you right. Cloudy, rainy Monday afternoon. We just visited with Steve Nelson over at the Sewage and Water Board. I was telling the corporal as that break hit, I was like, man, I know too damn much about the Sewage and Water Board. Seriously, it's ridiculous. EMDs, the diesel locomotives, 5 of them, they produce 2.5 megawatts of power each. That I know that. I thought the turbines did 22 apiece. He's like, no, about 18. It's like, geez, I'm really? That's why I say Cedric Grant, that political hack, that anointed, appointed hack that had like a 30-year career and his resume is like a blank sheet of paper, nothing on it. Just appointed, anointed, political hack, every administration. I'm riding by the Lafitte Greenway and his name's on some plaque from the Morial administration from like 1991. And he was Mitch Landrieu's head of the Sewage and Water Board. Just pathetic. I mean, I like Mitch. I think Mitch is honest. I don't think Mitch set up friends and family himself. I think Mitch thinks politics too much instead of just let's be pure civic, minded civil service. I mean, he grew up in it, his sister, his dad, everything. It's just how he is, But that bummed me out. Like, let me, a political favor. Who's the guy I need to put in at the Sewage and Water Board? It doesn't really matter if you have someone effective because the system kind of runs itself. Let's just put in some anointed, appointed hack like Cedric Grant. No, Cedric Grant ran the Sewage and Water Board. He's the Ghassan Corbin under the Mitch Landrieu administration. I would let Cedric Grant study up on Sewage and Water Board today and go have a test with him in a week or 2 weeks. And I bet you I'd score higher on the arbitrary test that you can set up if you'd like about the Sewage and Water Board. And I would score better than Cedric Grant. I promise you. No, because A, I care. B, I want to get the facts right. I'm listening on the radio. Someone goes, the turbines aren't pumping water. I'm like, yeah, they generate electricity. They're nowhere. You don't want them near water. That wouldn't be good if the turbine was near water. The old one that produces steam, that's about as close to water as we get with the turbines. No, I mean, it's just, I want to have the facts right. I care. I'm passionate. I care about the city. Yeah, everything the anointed, appointed hacks like Cedric Grant making $180 a year, $180,000 a year in retirement. It's obscene. It's obscene. It's shameful that real New Orleanians that work, like employees at the Sewage and Water Board, wherever, private sector, public sector, that actually work for their paycheck. They earn their money. They work and earn it. The legitimate people out there. No, it's sinful behavior that and like I said, shameful and obscene that some anointed, appointed hack like Cedric Grant pulls $180,000 a year in retirement. That system isn't self-sustaining. It's subsidized by us, the taxpayers, to this day. So we're paying for that guy to stick his feet in the sand. Do you know how many New Orleanians there are like that? black, white, Latino, whatever, that are just connected to the city, appointed, anointed, or have city contracts, live in a nice house, drive a nice car, take nice vacations, get dressed every morning, shave, put on a suit, and pretend they're legitimate businessmen. There's a lot of them. They go to bed at night, wife's asleep, mistress, whatever, about to go to bed all alone in the dark, staring up at the ceiling in the dark, just them and their maker. They know they're a fraud. They know they're a charlatan. They know they're a joke. But then the next day they rinse and repeat. You know, they live in a nice house. They got a nice car. Free money basically coming in. Pretending you have a job and working, that you earned it, that you're providing some useful service for the city. No, it's sad that I probably know more about the Sewage and Water Board than Cedric Grant, the former cat that ran it. Cedric, that number is 766-9480. If you or any of your pals want to call in to defend you, the 180,000, the lack of a resume, the anointed appointed hack, the joker, the head up the rear end of all these politicians decade in, decade out, 766-9480. No, when all that's so obviously true, it's best just to be quiet. Just enjoy the 180 a year. You pulled off the scam, the gimmick. You're a charlatan, and enjoy it. No, what sucks for Cedric Grant, he's the poster boy, Corporal. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of Cedric Grants out there. Got to be thousands that make a nice retire. I think, I want to say Bill Jefferson pulls like 10 G's a month. So he's pulling $120 from being a former U.S. congressman. The convicted felon Bill Jefferson, the crooked congressman, that guy. And then what about Burl Cain, his son? Burl Cain, the old warden at Angola. His son is in jail. Before the trial, a disability. I'm filed for disability. He's about 45. I mean, his disability is like overweight. Stealing money, might have picked up a bag of money and hurt his back. He pulls about $3,500 a month. So think about that. That dude's pulling north of $40K a year. Burl Cain's son, who's in jail on a BS disability. That what sucks in Louisiana, it's not just, like some of the New Orleans firefighters. I mean, the legitimate New Orleans firefighter, it just has to suck. You're civic minded. You wanted to be a fireman your whole life. You love the job. You're a hero, and you got these jerks you work with that fake these disabilities. Then you got real men you work with and women that have a legitimate disability. And Johnny the Joker faking the disabilities, pulling the same check as the guy who legitimately got hurt in the fire. Now, it's got to suck, Blue Boy, when you're a good guy and your group brings you down, gives you a bad rep. El Succo. What up, Blue Boy? 5 o'clock powwow is next. We got a lot coming your way. Stick around. You're right, Blue Boy. What else? 766-9480 is how you holla into the program. Blue Boy, you hit all the bases as usual.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Wow. Such a crazy coincidence. The Speed Racer theme comes on. I just had the round blade things installed in the front of my car. I push button G right on the, the airbag. You have a button now, G, and these big blades fly out. I was going to Mississippi, all right? And I'm on I-10. And I'm coming up on that I-10, I-59, I-12 split. And it's lots of traffic on the I-10, like to the high rise by the Paris line. I'm like, what the hell? What do? I hit button G. I turn right. I don't even slow down. I'm doing 70 miles an hour. People in the car like yelling, screaming, we're going to hit the trees. We're going to hit the trees. I'm giggling. They think it's suicide. I hit button G. And I end up taking out about 2,000 trees at 70 miles an hour, not even slowing down the vehicle, and then cut back in. I must have passed 1,000 cars, popped right back in front of the bridge, went over the state line. You can get all those Speed Racer extras built into your car, including the submarine feature, the bird that flies out of the hood, the jack up thing that you can jack up the car to repair it or launch yourself in the air. All these features are available at Jimmy's Speed Shop, Williams Boulevard in Kenner. Tell them Corey sent you. All right, let's get back to reality. What were those Japanese animators thinking? American children, they have pet monkeys. They eat lots of candy. They hide away in the trunk of the car. Pretty accurate. A cloudy, rainy day on a Monday in New Orleans. Thanks so much for joining us. If you missed the last hour, Steve Nelson with the Sewage and Water Board was with us, General Supervisor. We were just talking to him about how many pumps are operating, how much power is available, 25 hertz power. When are when do you guys take over cleaning the catch basins from the city, things of that nature and more. Late last week, we didn't really get to talk about it much. This Lincoln Beach public meeting, it's amazing just how the city operates. First off, just the thing that stood out to me about the public meeting was one of the people in charge of the public meeting, instead of just telling it like it is, they're sort of just trying to there's a possibility we'll have a bridge over Hain Boulevard from the parking lot to Lincoln Beach. No. There will be a bridge from the parking lot to Lincoln Beach because there's no other way. There's no other way. It's not going to be pump the tunnel dry and everybody goes under the train tracks and the flood wall. It's going to be almost exactly like the existing bridge over a train track and flood wall at Crescent Park on the riverfront in the Marigny neighborhood. There's a tower, I'd guess about 3 or 4 stories tall. Corporal, you ever been over to Crescent Park over that tower? Over the train track. You can take steps and then go across over the train track and flood wall and take steps back down. Or there's an operating elevator. I pushed the button. I put me in there, my bicycle, some other people, their bikes, went up about 3-4 floors, walked across the bridge, got into the other tower, another elevator down. You're in Central Park. That's exactly how it's going to be. Exactly how it's going to be. Troy Carter got the funding, $2.5 million, $3.5 million, whatever it was, $4.5 million. I forget it. It's probably $4.5 million of extra funding to make sure those 2 towers and that bridge over Hain Boulevard, the flood wall, and the train tracks is done. And this lady's talking about it like we might have a bridge. Okay, if we don't have a bridge, how are you going to enter? You're going to walk across Hain? And then Hain Boulevard, Oliver Thomas announced on this show, I don't know if they were talking about it in this much detail, Hain Boulevard is going to be turned 1 lane in each direction. It's no longer going to be the drag strip that it is today. It's going to be 1 lane in each direction, bicycle paths, different stuff, more pedestrian friendly, lower speed limit. It'll probably be a 35, maybe in some parts a 25, but it won't be what it is today. What is Hain Boulevard? At least like 40, 45, huh? A lot of folks going a lot faster than that. The Lincoln Beach public meeting late last week, besides just strange stuff like not a lot of detail about the new Hain Boulevard. I mean, my God, that runs right through it. That the tower, which is going to be how you enter the beach, not a lot of mention of that, or excuse me, a mention, but that it's a possibility, not that we got the money for it. It's been funded. But then the weirdest thing, this Lincoln Beach public meeting wasn't so public. Last minute, the city of New Orleans, the folks putting this on, said the media is not allowed to attend the meeting. A public meeting. The media is not allowed to attend a public meeting. You can't have the cameras on. You can't come in. And then there were some neighborhood, quote, activists. The mayor herself started out as a Broadmoor neighborhood activist post-Katrina. The city told these activists to stay home. You're uninvited to the public meeting. It's like Jeff Landry, I'm telling you. I always say Jeff Landry, LaToya Cantrell, very similar, just different political ideology. I mean, opposite. One's a loony liberal, one's kind of wacky right wing. No, but this kind of stuff, these kind of gimmicks. No, the public can't come to a public meeting, and the media can't come to a public meeting. And some loud neighborhood people, maybe is what the city's thinking, some activist types, they can't come to the public meeting. And then the reasoning on this is so insane and bizarre, it's almost comical. Lincoln Beach, this is the city. I'm being the city. Lincoln Beach, we already got a problem with people going over there illegally already, swimming and hanging out on the beach. And you guys talking about our public meeting and our planning of the future of Lincoln Beach, it's just going to let more people know about it and remind them about Lincoln Beach. And then more people are going to come out illegally to Lincoln Beach. I think having a public meeting and then kicking the media out or uninviting the media and uninviting some vocal activist types from the neighborhood made it bigger and more of a story than it would have been. And it reminded people about Lincoln Beach, and they're going to go out there and just go to the beach. Just crazy logic, irrational thinking. There's another meeting coming up later in July. I guarantee you the media will be at that one after this insanity. The media uninvited, activists from the neighborhood, vocal, opponents, proponents, I mean, just folks that are vocal. They just want to know what's going on, uninvited. I don't know too many folks that are against Lincoln Beach being redeveloped. I haven't heard too many Hain neighborhood groups saying, we like how things are. We don't want the people coming out here. We don't want that. Haven't heard that. Maybe it's going on. I haven't heard that. So why the city wouldn't want those neighborhood folks and activist types? That's how you get things accomplished. That's how you get them accomplished quickly. When the neighborhood's on board, giving you a thumbs up, pushing for the project to go through. Or you can try to stick City Hall in a square peg in a round hole, City Hall at Municipal Auditorium, and jam it down the Treme neighbors' throats. And they're not going to go for that. You're hoping they would, but they didn't. No, you need neighborhood involvement on this Lincoln Beach redo. You want neighborhood involvement on this Lincoln Beach redo. And holding a public meeting and then disinviting folks, that's crazy. Crazy. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Former LSU Tiger coach Les Miles suing LSU and the NCAA for those vacated wins that LSU agreed to with the NCAA to take away while he was coach. He says it hurts his Hall of Fame chances. When we come back, I'll explain more about that. And I will bet you LSU is going to settle with Les Miles and pay him. The NCAA is going to settle with Les Miles and pay him. And I wouldn't doubt if one day in the future, Les Miles could be a college Hall of Fame coach. He's got the record and the credentials for it, that's for sure. And Tiger fans don't like to admit it in some cases, but when you look at most successful, winningest head coaches in LSU football history, Les Miles is number one. He's the guy, the most successful football coach in LSU history.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. You heard me right going into that last break. Former LSU Tiger head football coach Les Miles suing LSU, suing the NCAA for the vacated wins. LSU under investigation. Who was that offensive lineman? I'm trying to think that Les Miles had, that some booster paid the family some money. So, but the basketball program was the real, worry for the NCAA and LSU. LSU essentially did not want basketball to bring down football. So how do we save football? How do we save football? Do what you want to men's basketball. We'll recover from that. The breadwinner at this school, 95% of the athletic money, Tiger, football. How do we save football? We'll let basketball burn, and we'll vacate wins with football. And the NCAA is like, cool, and everything worked out. Basketball got hit severely, football got hit minimally, and things went on. There were 37 wins vacated. To be eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame, you have to win 60% of your games. Les Miles was winning 67% of his games at LSU. Take away the 37 wins, he goes down to .597, right under 600, not eligible for the Hall of Fame. He goes from 145 and 73 overall to 108 and 73. And the 37 wins vacate. I think LSU was 37 and 12 or something like that in those 49 games. 37 and 12 over like a 4-year period. 37 and 12. Crazy. No, Les Miles could coach. Now, here's the kicker of all this. Les Miles is going to win. Les Miles is going to win this lawsuit because it was LSU and the NCAA deciding to vacate the 37 wins that are on Les Miles' personal resume. Like, he didn't have any say in this. And he's going to argue that LSU was protecting football at the expense of basketball. That football had its problems. Basketball had much bigger problems. Let's throw basketball in the fire. We'll vacate some wins. Everybody's happy. Football's protected. LSU is trying to protect football. I don't think anyone that knows LSU sports can argue with that. LSU made the agreement, not Les Miles, with the NCAA. And LSU was definitely trying to protect football during all of this. And didn't care about Les Miles and wins or any of that. Les Miles, I don't know if he's getting in the Hall of Fame because I don't know how the committee's going to look at the whatever you want to call the sexual stuff. I mean, making out with a co-ed in the car, trying to. I don't think there was anything more. There was that and a couple of other things. Not a good environment. I like blondes, all that. I'm not trying to say Les Miles and the program was run right. It was sexist, misogynistic. It was ridiculous. Pathetic. Sad, pathetic. But it wasn't Les Miles raped anyone, right? But loss of control of the football program, arguably. That's what LSU is trying to avoid with the NCAA. So I don't know what the Hall of Fame committee is going to do as far as putting Les Miles in the Hall of Fame, but his career warrants it. Without any of the baggage, he would be green-lighted. He would be in. And he's going to win the lawsuit. LSU, regardless of if the Hall of Fame lets him in, LSU is going to settle with Les Miles. The NCAA is going to settle with Les Miles. This is not even going to go to court. LSU is going to settle with Les Miles for millions of dollars, and the NCAA is going to settle with Les Miles for millions of dollars. Why do you think Coach Orgeron walked out of the door with $16 million? The $16 million he always jokes about it. Buy a lot of cheeseburgers, hamburgers with $16 million, whatever Coach Orgeron says. because of all the dopey crap that went down when he was there, sexual harassment, players, rape charges, sexual harassment charges from players. So the LSU is like, here's 16 mil, and you don't say anything. You Fifth Amendment, I take the fifth for everything. We'll handle it. You ever get called to the stand, you talk to our lawyers first. They'll tell you what to say. Here's 16 million. Otherwise, we get some money back. Ogeron's like, I'll take the 16 million. That buys a lot of hamburgers. No, to shut Ogeron up. And Les Miles, I think he's got a legitimate case. And here's the kicker, Tiger fans. I'm pretty much like most Tiger fans. I fully understand the strengths and weaknesses of Les Miles. Predictable offense, not utilizing the offensive talent, not running a more modern offense, stubborn in his ways, not flexible, not a great clock management coach, maybe not the most disciplined coach, disciplined program. But Les Miles was a head coach. He was a CEO. He understood how to run the big thing. Always a great defense. Sometimes the offense was pretty damn good. They were good year in, year out. During the Les Miles era, the most highly anticipated game from around 2008, 2009 to around 2015, 2016 was LSU Alabama, year in, year out. National championship implications, year in, year out. Les Miles averaged 10 wins a year, won a few SEC championships, won a national title, played for another. I mean, Les Miles was the single most successful football coach in LSU football history, period, end of story. He stands alone. Do I think Nick Saban's a better coach? Of course. But time at the school, number of wins, record, championships, all that, Les Miles stands alone. There's no one that touches him. He's the most successful football coach in LSU football history. If LSU football fans like that or not, if you like Les Miles or not. Somebody today on social media was comparing Les Miles to Coach Ogeron. I was like, you're kidding, right? Coach Ogeron, again, most LSU fans that seem to get it and are aware of the program, they would say lightning in a bottle is the best way to describe Ed Ogeron in the 2019 season. Caught lightning in a bottle. The real Ed Ogeron appeared the 2 seasons after that. 500 football and decimating the program, almost wrecking the program. Outside of transfer portal era, it would have taken a few years to rebuild LSU football in the SEC. They would have had a few 500-ish type seasons, 7-5, Independence Bowl type stuff before getting their feet back, like a few seasons. No, Brian Kelly comes in, good selection as coach, and gets the program back on solid footing. I mean, Ed Ogeron, like, the blueprint on how to wreck a program that was kicking ass and taking names for 2 decades. So, no, you can't compare Ed Ogeron and Les Miles because each have a national title. Miles played for another. Miles coached for 10, 11 seasons. Miles averaged 10 wins a year. You can't even compare the two. One was a flash in the pan and then just faltered horribly. And Les Miles just couldn't keep up with Nick Saban. Who could? Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right. Hey, TV audience, we'll see you mañana. You can continue. Oh, so fine, 93.9 FM. You continue checking us out, CoreyTalks.com. You can continue on your smart TV at home right now, where you're watching on Cox Channel 4 or Spectrum Channel 333. Go to YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. If not, mañana. See you tomorrow, TV audience. Yeah, that means it's straight down 5:30. Every day we do it on the radio. 4 to 6 o'clock, 2 big hours. Your drive time home program in the Metro. 2 big hours on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Live streaming from our website, CoreyTalks.com. Corey spelled Kaare. You can email us, Corey@CoreyTalks.com. 90 minutes of fun. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour program, simulcast on television, live on the radio, live on YouTube, live on TV from 4 to 5:30 on TV. Cox Channel 4 statewide. Spectrum Channel 333 statewide. Make it a date. Hey, by the way, CoreyTalks.com has all that info. All that info. Links to YouTube, radio, TV, all that. CoreyTalks.com. Cloudy, rainy day today. Maybe an inch of rain coming down in the metro, but solid rain over a few hours. I got Steve Nelson on, General Superintendent, Sewerage and Water Board. Thought it's a good day to tool around and you check out catch basins that aren't working. I was on a few uptown streets. I'm like, why am I driving through 20 yards of kind of flooded street? And then I look to my left, I look to my right, water's right up to the top of the catch basin. I drive down the rest of the street, totally high and dry. Every catch basin's clear. They're taking the water in. These two right next to each other, must be a big oak tree, magnolia tree, something that's putting a lot of debris in there and clogging them up. So no, today's a great day where the Sewage and Water Board should be out in force. Hey, you got keys to a Sewage and Water Board vehicle, get out there, hit the streets, everybody hit an area and, make it organized, obviously, and give us addresses where there are puddles in front of catch basins and right next door, another catch basin's flowing perfectly. So it's obvious that the catch basin is the problem. I'm the public. I don't know about you. I got a catch basin in front of my house. I don't know about getting the crowbar out the car and jacking it up myself and sticking my fingers under some big metal catch basin, but hiring some crew to handle it, hiring some people that are insured that they're going to have the right equipment to pull that off and clean it out, I might do that. In front of my house, if the catch basin always flooded and the city's not coming, right now we're in a limbo period. The city, Department of Public Works, they're still handling catch basins. They're still handling the pipes the catch basins, flow into that lead to the bigger pipes that the Sewage and Water Board handles. How motivated is the city's Department of Public Works going to be? They did a crappy job cleaning catch basins up to this point. What's going to motivate them to do a great job when they're handing the car keys over to the Sewage and Water Board in a few months? I hope I'm wrong. Steve Nelson said, man, Corey, I was in the car today with the Department of Public Works. We were checking out catch basins, talked about how much they've cleaned out of catch basins in the last few months, talked about $10 million allocated to them to continue to clean catch basins. I hope Steve Nelson's right. I'm skeptical. It's still call 311, that crappy city service, not the 52 water at the Sewage and Water Board, because 52 water is the Sewage and Water Board number, and they're not in charge of the catch basins yet. 311 is the city's number, Department of Public Works. They're in charge of catch basins still. I just personally don't have a lot of confidence in the city's 311. 30 years ago today, O.J. Simpson chase, it interrupted the NBA Finals. I got 50 big bucks to the Woodhouse. What a terrible Woodhouse Day Spot trivia question, huh, Corporal? Who was driving the white Bronco? Who was driving the white Bronco that O.J. Simpson was in? Who was driving the white Bronco that O.J. Simpson was in during the chase? Now, is this what color was George Washington's white horse? Who's buried in Grant's tomb? Is it that kind of a question? Like, who's driving the Bronco, or was someone else driving the Bronco? Take a crack at it. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. 5 area locations. 2 on the South Shore, 2 on the North Shore, Baton Rouge. Rouse's Markets phone lines to participate, 766-9480. 766-9480. That was pure insanity. NBA Finals going on, watching the game, gets interrupted for the O.J. Simpson chase. White Bronco on the interstate, 40 LAPD vehicles following about 100 yards back. No one else on the interstate. It's Los Angeles. All the TV crews are flying over by helicopter, shooting it live. Insane. I remember ABC when the Bronco ends up at O.J. Simpson's Brentwood house. Somebody calls ABC. I am right here. I'm next door. I'm 100 yards away. I can see O.J. in the Bronco. Okay, hang on, caller. We're going to put you on live with Peter Jennings. Oh, I can see O.J. slumped over. Pull that up if you can. The fake O.J. call. He ends up saying like Baba Booey at the end, Howard Stern. It's almost painful, except it's comical. And the journal, you got to give, I think it's Peter Jennings. He just, it's ABC News, O.J. Simpson, fake phone call, live. That's all you got to put in there, Corporal. ABC News, O.J. Simpson, fake phone call, live. And a Baba Booey to you. It's like, really? I can see the juice. He's laying down low. I mean, when you hear it, you know that it's nonsense after the fact. I mean, that's, Monday quarterback's easy. I love Monday quarterbacking. Hey, Corporal, everybody knew Jimmy was gay. He came out the closet. Everyone knew he was gay. No one knew he was gay. You knew he was gay when he came out the closet. You didn't know a minute before then. I love Monday quarterbacking. No, I'm listening to that live. I thought it was real. Thought it was a little strange that they went to a citizen live, not a reporter, but the whole O.J. Simpson thing was strange. Somebody with ABC rolled the dice. You got it, Corporal?
I believe so.
How long is it? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's got to be it. Roll with it. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It's untested radio. This could be.
Just going to ask everybody to be quiet for a moment. We have on the phone with us as well Robert Higgins, who lives in the neighborhood and is on the ground and can see inside the van. Mr. Higgins.
Yes, how are you?
Just about as tense as you are, sir.
Oh, my Lord, this is quite the tensest.
How can you see?
Oh, what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at the van, and I see O.J. kind of slouching down, looking very, very upset.
It's painful.
Now, look at here. He looked very upset. I don't know what he's going to be doing.
Can you see him doing anything specific? Is he merely sitting there?
He is just sitting around, just looking like he'd be very nervous.
Can you hear anything, Mr. Higgins?
It's just too much commotion. I be in the back of a news van, so I can't really hear that good, but I can see it all. And I see O.J. I see O.J., man, and he looks scared. And I would be scared because there's cops all deep in this.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
And Baba Booey to y'all.
The driveway of O.J. Simpson's home in Brentwood. Clearly an effort being made to have him come out of the vehicle.
Wow.
In the doorway of the house.
Peter Jennings mentioned
his friend, Al Cowling.
Peter, by the way, just for the record, this is Al Michaels. That was a totally farcical call.
Wow.
Lest anybody think that was somebody who was truly across the street. That was not. He said something in code at the end that's indicative of the mentioning of the name of a certain radio talk show host.
Okay, thanks, Al.
So he was not there.
All right, we have them on every coast. Thank you very much. Not the first time nor the last time will have been had, but
you got to give Peter Jennings credit. Was Peter Jennings like going, yeah, Al, I knew it. I was trying to move on. Why are you putting the spotlight on that? Or was Peter Jennings like, well, you know what? We should inform the public that was a nonsense call. And I think 90% of the public didn't know Baba Booey and Howard Stern. So they're like, I think Al Michael was probably right. But that's Al Michael literally calling into ABC. You could tell he called in and he's like, that wasn't a real call. It's painful listening to it. And then just the incorrect grammar. He'd be sitting on I'm like, geez, Pete, really? Just after the fact, hard to check out. But that was literally live. And I'm as tense as you are, whatever Peter Jennings said. And then poor Peter Jennings, like, talking to Mr. Higgins. Who was driving OJ around in the white Bronco? Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. Rouse's Markets phone lines to participate. 766-9480. 766-9480. It was amazing. I mean, I'm lucky. I was raised by good parents. No N-bomb ever dropped. Nothing anti-gay, anti-women. No, racial or epithets or, bad words for any group or people. Nothing. I mean, I know the words for Spanish or Irish or German or, go watch The Godfather when that scene where he's trying to get with the movie producer, Tom, the attorney. The music producer basically rattles off about a dozen Italian bad names for Italians, derogatory words for Italians. And then Tom is like, I'm German Irish. And then he rips the German and the Irish with racial words in The Godfather. It's hysterical. Anyway, Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. 30 years ago today, the O.J. Simpson chase, interrupting the NBA Finals. NBA Finals going on, they go to that. And yeah, Peter Jennings and all that. And a whole lot of other stuff like who was driving the Bronco. 766-9480. 766-9480. You got the answer to that? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. Speaking of OJ, yeah, and race. No, there's a lot. It was, the dynamic was interesting when the verdict was announced that OJ Simpson was not guilty. Photos of mostly white people watching was disbelief, disappointment that this criminal, this murderer, got away with it. Obvious evidence, O.J. Simpson guilty. Then, of course, there's a small percentage of white people, I'm not denying it, that they didn't like O.J. Simpson because he was black and probably too ignorant to know if the evidence was legit or not. They just wanted O.J. guilty. But most white people were like, this guy's a criminal. He's a murderer. That's obvious. They'd show black folks in a group, especially like college, university black folks, jumping up and cheering that OJ was found innocent. I think at that very time, heat of the moment, while that was going on, I think a lot of black folks would say, yes, I believe he's innocent. And I think at that very time, they were in denial. And I think as time has gone on, that number has shrunk tremendously of black folks that think O.J. Simpson's innocent. And are there still some folks, black and white, I guess, that think O.J.'s innocent? Sure. Not very many. And I would still say some of those black folks are just confused like day one when they were cheering his innocence. They weren't cheering like O.J. Simpson's innocent. They were cheering like, boy, in a weird way, this is justice and equality for black people in America. In a weird way, this is a sign of justice and equality for black people in America. White people that are famous, that have money, that can hire the best attorneys, occasionally they get away with murder. Von Bulow, Blake, Robert Blake, there's a long list. Finally, a black man with money, fame, fortune, power can hire the best attorneys and sometimes can get away with murder. So it was a strange justice that I think some black folks just got confused with. Yeah, he's innocent. It's like, no, I think he's not. But it's a weird kind of justice, equality, a civil rights movement, worth noting. The innocent verdict for O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson's guilty as can be. Anyone that wants to have that conversation, I'm not even interested in having it. We're disagreeing with just basic, I don't want to say facts, but as close to facts as you can get. Most folks with objective lenses on, looking at the info, O.J. Simpson guilty. But I think a lot of black folks back then were glad to see O.J. get off because it was a weird kind of equality. Wow, a black man with power, with money, and a great attorney can get off too. Can get off even murdering two white people. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. No, black people don't think O.J. Simpson's innocent. Black people are glad to see one of their own got away with something that Whitey's been getting away with for a long time. That's all. Game 5, NBA Finals, Boston Garden, whatever they call it. I can't keep up. 7:30 tonight, ABC. Celtics can close it out. They lead 3-1, but they got ripped in game 4. Dallas won by that game was over by halftime, third quarter. Boston favored by 6.5. I mean, Dallas is going to go full tilt. Boston wants to end it tonight at home. They're probably the better team. We'll see what goes down. Kyrie Irving and Doncic go off. But I mean, Tatum and company, they're just so damn good. You look at Boston and you, as a Pelicans fan, you're like, that's why they didn't take the Anthony Davis trade. And we, the Pelicans, had to go with the Laker trade. Send Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Celtics didn't want to send Tatum and all that crew, Brown and the whole crew. Hey, speaking of the whole crew, fair and honest, Lucas and the boys, that crew, River City's Total Maintenance, honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. If your AC is not working right, or worse, not working at all, fair and honest, Lucas and the boys will get it working this afternoon. They'll get it working tonight. They're honest. They're experts at what they do, and they come immediately. What more do you need? NOLAAC.com is how you get them. If you ever need air conditioning help, NOLAAC.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, you're right. Thanks so much for joining us on kind of a cloudy, rainy day. The Corporal's at the controls, 766-9480. 766-9480. Lincoln Beach public meeting, not so public. Telling some of the media members, or all the media, not to show up. Telling some activists, some of the more vocal members of the local community off Hayne Boulevard out there to not show up uninvited. And then the city's reasoning on this, and again, a public meeting. We don't want the media there because you're going to write and report about the story of the reopening of Lincoln Beach and just getting the name out, Lincoln Beach, and talking about it puts it at top of mind awareness. And we already have hundreds of people showing up out here illegally as is. And we don't need to put it in people's minds and they're going to proactively come out here illegally. Don't put security out there. Don't fence it off properly. Don't do those things. Make a public meeting not public. They're just mind-blowing. That's the city's reasoning on it, literally. Don't want people knowing about it. It's a public meeting. There's 25 plus million to redo Lincoln Beach. People know about it. This isn't going to make more people come out to Lincoln Beach. Just crazy. They will have a public meeting, and I think it's going to be fully open to the public. The media will be there next month in July. Has to be that way. Has to be that way. Former Tiger head coach Les Miles suing LSU, suing the NCAA for their agreement, LSU and the NCAA's agreement to vacate 37 wins. Coach Les Miles is like, I didn't agree to that, and it hurts my Hall of Fame chances. Literally, like the Hall of Fame has like a kind of an unwritten rule. You have to have a 600 winning percentage, 6 out of 10 wins. Got to win 60% of your games. Les Miles won 67% of his games. But with the vacated 37 wins, it drops him to 59%, right under 60, making him ineligible. You know what's going to happen? Les Miles is going to win. This will never go to trial. LSU will settle with Les Miles for a few $1 million. The NCAA is going to settle with Les Miles for a few $1 million. Watch. And the reasons are simple. Because legally, Les Miles didn't agree to any of this. LSU did. LSU will argue, we're the boss of Les Miles. Les Miles will say, that's great, but you're taking 37 wins off of my resume, my coaching record, Les Miles' record. He's going to win that. He's going to win that where LSU is going to settle. It's not even going to go to trial. And the NCAA is going to do the same. And here's the kicker. LSU, during all of this, sacrificed men's basketball to protect the breadwinner, the moneymaker, LSU football. And I get it. I'm LSU. I would have done exactly that. And part of the deal was, here, throw LSU basketball in the fire, and we'll sacrifice. You can take 37 of our wins, vacate 37 of our victories for football, but just leave football intact, basically. And the NCAA agreed to it. I get what LSU was doing. LSU football delivers about 95, 96, 97% of all the athletic funding and revenue. Men's basketball makes a little bit of money. Baseball loses a little money. Mulkey wins a national title with women. They lose money. They put $10,000 a game at the PMAC. They lose money. So I get it. Football is the cash cow. I'm LSU. I do the exact same thing. I'm just saying Les Miles didn't agree to it, and legally he's got a pretty good argument on that. And then the argument about LSU trying to save football and using the 37, vacating the 37 wins. Les Miles is saying my wins as head coach. He's going to get the wins back. I don't know if the Hall of Fame committee is going to put him in the Hall of Fame, but if there was no baggage with the sex scandal thing that got him fired from Kansas, he'd be in college football's Hall of Fame. What's that, Blue Boy? Tiger fans can like it or not, but overall, record-wise success, the greatest coach in LSU football history is who? Les Miles. Not is Nick Saban a better coach than Les Miles? I think those folks would agree with that. It's at LSU the whole tenure. Yeah, it's a good point, Blue Boy. I'd have to agree with you. Hey, New Orleans. See you tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.